I'm Rich.
I'm Othello.
I'm Aaron.
I'm John.
And by our fandoms combined, we are Fandom United. As you can tell, for those of you who have watched the show,
Things look a little different.
Things look a little different. And it looks great in here.
Thank you.
Yeah. So for
Did a little remodeling.
little remodeling called a move, a lightning fast move.
Which is the reason it's been a few
which
weeks
is
since
why
we've
we
been
haven't
on.
been here. Yeah. Rich moved from a smaller location to a new location. What's the new address?
3839 Lee May Ferry Road.
I was going to say 3839 Lee May Ferry Road. Still here in South St. Louis, Missouri. So come on by, check out the new space. It is twice the size of the old store. Love it because there's so much stuff that he has had in storage that he is actually now able to get out. And this is, I mean, wait until we film with the Transformers wall. Y'all ain't seen nothing yet. There's a whole Star Wars wall. There's a whole Transformers section. Where the cameras are set up now is going to be G.I. Joe Island, basically, with the flag on it. It's just nuts in here. It's nuts in here.
Question time. So we're gonna film in different sections of the store.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Might as well use the space.
I mean, it's big enough. Like, who are we going to bump into, right?
I know what we like, and then we can go back and stick with that.
Yeah. So, and then once somebody buys this awesome collection, I'm sure there'll be something else here. But this is really cool. This is the spot I chose.
Just because of all
because it's I mean, come on, it's freaking awesome. Look at it.
Hold on for a second. Then let's pull out this.
Not that He-Man. Oh my gosh, this dude. Wow.
So yes,
you know
we have
what?
cool He-Mans and lame ones.
And we have the lame ones for that one kid. It's like
Galactic He-Man for life.
freaking millennials. So anyway, to get back into it, of course, Crisis on Infinite Earths started this week.
Yep. Started Monday.
Sunday.
Sunday.
Started Sunday night with Supergirl. The second episode was Batwoman. The third episode was The Flash. And then we're getting the last two episodes in
Basically
January.
a month from
January.
now.
January 14th. So, Aaron, you're a big CW fan. Aaron, why don't you tell us what you feel about Crisis?
Like I said, I'll watch a dumpster fire until it's all done burning. I had such high hopes for Crisis. There's some good nuggets. Kingdom Come Superman was a good nugget.
Okay, you know what? Let's talk about Brandon Routh for a minute because he had his shot to play Superman. Superman Returns. He didn't have a great movie, and a lot of that fell on him, and kind of dovetailed his career. Wrongfully fell on him. Dovetailed his career, but somebody, Greg Berlanti or somebody, saw him like, you know what? You'll make a great Ray Palmer. Let's add you to Arrow. Character gets popular. Hey, you're the Atom now. Let's put you on Legends, and he's remained a mainstay of that cast. For them to come to him and be like, hey, we want you to put the suit on again. I love that. That's respect, number one. Number two, how he approached the role. He was like, cool, I'll be in the gym if you need me. Because looking at Brandon Routh in his Kingdom Come suit next to Tyler Hoechlin in
he's
his
like
current suit.
double the size.
Was the same thing with Tom Welling.
Dude.
Tom Welling was jacked.
Freaking yokes. Like, Brandon Routh is standing there and it's like, he actually cannot put his arms down. Mm-hmm. They said when they weren't shooting, they said Brandon Routh was standing around like this with his hands on his hips, and everybody were like, they were in awe because they were like, wow, he really looks like Superman. Da 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 da.
He just can't
He
the
couldn't
muscles up.
put his arms down.
The question is, have they started shooting the new Superman series? Yeah, they just gonna tell Tyler,
I don't care.
They should just like, you know what? You did a good job. We appreciate you. We have better options.
We accidentally killed you off during Crisis.
I'm not a
Come
fan of him as Superman. I'm not a fan of that Lois. You know what? It's
Hashtag not my Superman.
you gonna make me say at least the Snyder cut. No, I'm stopped. I just looking at him, looking at Tyler standing next to Brandon Routh, and you're like, okay, Brandon Routh is Superman. Mm-hmm. I don't know who this other dude is, but they need to give him another character to play. Yeah, they need to give him another character to play because that ain't him. That ain't it.
No, he does a good Superman. He's just the Superman from what was the Flash thing? animated deal.
Oh,
Where
Flashpoint.
Superman was like all.
Flashpoint.
Was it Flashpoint or was that Doom?
No, it's Flashpoint.
Oh no, the one where the bomb and he got all irradiated or whatever.
Well, no, the one where he was like living in a cell.
That's Flashpoint.
Oh yes, that's Flashpoint. Yes,
That's what
yes.
I thought when they first introduced that dude
Scrawny
on
Superman.
on Supergirl.
And
I'm like, wow, they found the most emasculated
I'm
Superman.
so sorry that I derailed the conversation, but I was so impressed with Brandon Routh as Superman. I completely forgot about it. Yes,
And he's good.
and
he's
great. And I'm thinking, honestly, I want a Kingdom Come Superman movie. I want Kingdom Come. Somebody, WB, film Kingdom Come. Let's Brandon Routh as Superman and do the rest of it. And I'm there. I will push for that movie forever. And you can release the Snyder Cut while you're at it. Because you guys are losers. But I'm all for it.
Have you gotten to Kevin Conroy's part yet?
No. And I know who he's playing, and I see it.
I don't. Why did you have?
Who is he playing? I'm not in it.
He
playing
plays
Bruce.
essentially. He plays Bruce Wayne, but he plays a Bruce Wayne who fully embraced his dark side and murdered Superman, murdered the Joker, murdered Mr. Freeze, and kept like a trophy case.
Spoiler.
It's if you should have
Was
watched
the
it by
equivalent
now.
of Thomas Wayne from.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
From
so
that-
he's playing the Batman of the future, basically, of a future Batman, an older Bruce, which is cool that they got Kevin Conroy to do it. right? 'Cause
hopeless
he's the
senile
voice of
Batman.
He's voice of Batman.
He's the voice of
a
Batman.
recluse. Like I don't know. I just didn't want to see
He's playing
Kevin.
the Kingdom Come Batman.
I get it, but that's not how I wanted to see Kevin Conroy as Batman.
I didn't
Or
want to
as
see.
Bruce
I didn't
Wayne.
want to see Burt Ward walking his dog either. But whatever, dude. Or the awesome Titans cameo, and it's just like Hawk flashed really quick when it starts. Like, oh, Earth, whatever the number is, Hawk. Oh, that's all you get, huh? Okay.
And Jason Todd. Jason Todd was there.
Oh, yes,
looking
right.
at- looking at the red
And
sky.
Jason Todd was there. Shows you how much I how much I care about
It-
Titans. Oh,
It felt like too many cooks. It was just like
no, it felt like a CW show.
there was like 10 threads, and they couldn't figure out how to get all those threads to go together because one go off that way, then this way, then that way, then that way, then that
Is
way.
this your first CW crossover?
No,
Yeah,
But
they're
I had-
all like that.
I had high hopes for it. They had a year to plan. They had a year to plan the show. They could have made a little
stop.
bit.
Okay, wait, hold on. A year to write, script, plan the filming of the biggest crossover in DC history, the biggest and most important crossover in the DC Comics canon.
They had planned it before a year, though. They knew they were going to do it.
Looking at what they're calling Crisis, and here's my thing, and I think this is one of the problems that DC has in comics today. Crisis was so big. Crisis was huge. You had the death of the original Supergirl, you had the death of the Flash, and you had these legacy characters taking over, which is because that's where Power Girl came from. That's where Wally West took over as the Flash. All that, right? So you have that, and it was this huge crossover, and none of the crossovers that they have done since have come close. Not even close. Because that's the pinnacle. You can't get any bigger than that. Marvel's going to run into the same thing, movie side, with Endgame. It's like, nothing they do is going to be a bigger stake than we have to rescue half of the people in all of creation. Nothing is going to be bigger than that. So they put themselves in a corner. No crossover they do will have the stakes that Crisis does. Crisis isn't being...
They fumbled the ball, in my opinion.
I think well, it's a CW show. They fumble. That's what they do. There isn't... I'm sorry, I am just not into the CW shows anymore. I got my kids into watching them back in the day. I was standing for Arrow back in the day. Flash, I was all for it, and I have stopped watching the CW shows because the quality and some of the acting is so bad, and the melodrama is so corny. Because when I look at stuff like Umbrella Academy or, God help me, Watchmen, I can't take the CW stuff seriously. Like,
Watchmen is beautiful.
the CW stuff is like, okay, you like Mexican food, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The Watchmen is like, like the finest Mexican restaurant you can think of actually run by Mexicans. Right? Where, like, your servers, like, if you open the door to the kitchen, you don't hear any English. Like, that good kind of Mexican food, y'all know what I'm talking about. Because there's one in my neighborhood, El Nepal, in Valley Park is legit. You don't hear any English when you go in there. It's great. So you know the food is good. But CW shows is like Taco Bell with Germans running it. That ain't it. That just ain't it. It looks like Mexican. They say it's Mexican. They even have taco in the name, but it's not Mexican food. I don't care what they tell you. That ain't Mexican food. Even though I'm gonna probably go to Taco Bell on my way home tonight because I haven't eaten yet. But it's not. It's CW Mexican. It's not real Mexican food. And that's why I have a problem with the CW shows. It's just not good enough anymore. It was good enough when we didn't have anything. It's just not good enough anymore.
Yeah. I can agree with that.
You can't give me Umbrella Academy. You can't give me The Watchmen and then say, hey, okay, well, go back and watch the CW now. I don't want to.
Somebody I know made a good remark. He said, I wonder when they were, because they've been planning this for a while.
Yeah.
He wondered if Endgame put a snag in any plans that they might have had.
No, Endgame had nothing to do with it. You can't. DC fans and Warner Brothers, they have got to stop blaming Marvel for everything.
Because they wanted to do nothing that even came close to looking like what Marvel was doing.
I'm almost sure they're going to kill off Oliver. I was almost sure that was the possibility.
Well, no, Stephen Amell was like, no, this is my last season. I'm done.
I know, but they're going to have him. I bet you they're going to have him like a heroic death.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, that's right. He hasn't watched it yet. Okay. Yeah.
Well, I kind of know he's a Spectre.
Spoilers. First episode.
He's a Spectre.
Nope. So what were you gonna say? Yeah, no. Amel's done. He's done in the universe. He's done. He's hanging it up. He's like, I want to, watch my kids grow up. Like.
Also, first episode he's done. Okay, I'm watching it. I'll
yeah.
watch it tomorrow. Oh.
Yeah. Third episode was probably the best of the 3 episodes so far. Because it seemed more like they had a goal and they were going towards it. The first 2 episodes was just everywhere, and I thought it was. None of you have watched it, so I can't. There's just things that like, they fumbled the ball too many times. It's like they fumbled and they caught it and they kept going and then they fumbled it again. It's like they had butterfingers all the way down the field, and I'm done talking about Crisis.
Because Aaron is feeling some type of way about it. He is all in his feelings about
it. Let's wait a month to see how this dumpster fire burns out.
Yeah, that's the worst part. You're not even waiting a month for something to get good. You're like,
yeah, he
just end it, come on.
Yeah, it's like he's getting tortured to death, and he's like, you know what? Let's just wait a month and see how it's gonna happen.
See, the thing, I'm bad about it. I'm still gonna watch it. I'm still gonna watch that dumpster fire burn.
I'm the same way. I can start a bad movie and be like, okay, this is not a good movie, but I'm gonna watch it all the way to the end because I gotta know how it.
I'm not that guy. I'm not the guy anymore.
No, I'm not.
It's too much.
Yeah, I'm not. But then you look at, like we were just briefly talking about Watchmen. Watchmen is firing on all cylinders.
They took a boring property and made it so good.
They took a boring city and made it interesting.
Like,
they made Tulsa interesting.
Now, Tulsa is interesting, and I actually have to give Watchmen props because that first episode when they talked about Black Wall Street and the race riot in Tulsa in the 40s and where all these people were killed, like how everything was and how all these people were killed and all that. My wife looked at me and she goes, that didn't really happen, right?
Yep.
I was like, no, nothing like that happens in America. That would have been in the history books. We would have learned about that. So we looked it up. Or she looked it up as we're sitting there watching the episode. She paused it again. She was like, babe, that happened. Watchmen taught me something about history, which is ridiculous. 2 things, because then there's also the thing with the Germans who were dropping leaflets to the black soldiers to try to get them to defect because they were like, in Germany, you're just a citizen. We'll just treat you like anybody else.
Right.
Why bother fighting for the Americans and then going back home and being treated like you're still a slave? You should come and fight for us. And that was a real thing.
See,
that was a real thing.
They even took stuff that could have easily been hokey and made it good. Like when she took her grandpa's nostalgia. That could have easily been a hokey episode. But that was probably one of the best episodes.
That was
of
the
this
whole episode.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's my problem. Not great, and that's beautiful. That whole episode, I'm like, no way they're going to spend the whole episode on him doing this, and they did, and it was amazing. When God, spoilers. I mean, I hate to even say it, but I mean the season finale is Sunday. So when you guys watch this on Saturday, the season finale is the next day.
I would hope if you're watching this, you're at least invested enough in these kind of shows to not be spoiled by what we're talking about.
Well, you're probably watching it already anyway. When Dr. Manhattan shows up, those effects...
With your parents' permission.
Well, not my kids. When Dr. Manhattan shows up, the effects are amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Like, wow, that's all those effects that they do with Europa and then Dr. Manhattan, all the different lighting, all the effects are amazing, and it makes me wonder how Watchmen is owned and produced by the same company that produces the DC Universe shows and the CW shows. They're all owned by AT&T.
If there's anything, it definitely shows that like traditional TV is going out the door because they just don't put the budget towards that kind of stuff like they do for
But
streaming
you say
shows.
that,
Which is
okay,
crazy,
but
but
they
they
don't
have
put
the
that budget
advertising.
for the streaming shows either.
Mm,
I'm almost
not
positive.
true.
The DC Universe shows.
okay, there we go.
The DC
There we
Universe.
go. I'm sorry.
Nobody knows.
I was like,
when that-
streaming is like where it's at for
Yeah.
shows. I mean,
Because
at the
HBO's,
Orville.
Orville, HBO.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the next season of Orville.
So-
HBO's, Netflix, they're spending a ton of money on these shows.
So AT&T was like, here's $10 million. We're going to take $9.5 million, put it towards streaming, $500,000 going to TV.
I don't know. Looking at those effects from the first episode of Crisis, I think you're exaggerating a little bit. I don't think they got $500,000 for those effects. I just don't. I'm sorry. I am just like I'm hate like just everything about it is like bothering me. Like I'm looking at the outfits and I'm just like, this costume sucks. The only, like just everything about it just sucks.
You know who spent some money on some effects? Episode 4 of The Mandalorian.
Yo, you know what, Leah? Let's talk about something happy because we got 10 minutes left. Let's talk about something happy. Thank you, Rich. Let's talk about The Mandalorian for a minute. Is everybody caught up on The Mandalorian?
Oh, yes.
John, you good down there too?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Well,
Cause
For one, for the small amount of time that we've been gone, Baby Yoda has blown up.
And how did they
Thank
not have
God.
a toy? They dropped that ball. They dropped it.
I am so happy that Baby Yoda has caught us because I am so sick of looking at that dang cat. I swear, the lady arguing with the cat is just I just driving me crazy.
Jelly.
I wasn't gonna say her
Oh,
name.
I'll say it, Jelly. We got a group chat for everybody up here, and everything Jelly puts up there, she puts that. I wouldn't know what that was.
And
if it
then
was
I'm
not
friends
for
with her on
Jelly.
Facebook. There's even more. But so yeah, so when Baby Yoda kind of took over, I was for. And then it's like every week they give you something with Baby Yoda, whether it's messing with the controls in the ship or just standing there while Mandalorian and Cara Dune are fighting, and he's just sitting there with his little bowl drinking, like. But even beyond the amazingness of that character, and thank God for Werner Herzog, who convinced Favreau and Filoni to not go digital with that.
Mm-hmm.
Who convinced them to say, no, you need to do a practical effect. That's adorable. Do a practical effect.
Yeah.
Thank God for Werner Herzog.
You said it a little bit more
Colorful.
than that.
Yes, he did. But The Mandalorian is the best Star Wars has been since Star Wars Rebels went off the air. The cartoon.
I would agree.
This is the
Here's
best
the thing
live
that I
action
love
it's
about
been.
it. I mean, I'd like to be talking about the show, but we've been tracking like what's been going on with the movies and Kathleen Kennedy and all the hate that and the toxic fandom and all this stuff. This shows how much people will get behind it when you put out a good product.
When it's done well, yeah.
And that's the thing. I'm like, Disney, you cannot deny that people are all about this show.
You know what though?
So it is not Star Wars fatigue. It was
Yeah.
we're just tired of the garbage.
Yeah.
I think, and that was something that she said, but I think what Bob Iger did when he told Filoni and Favreau, go do this show, I think it was kind of like, like you think of a show like a backdoor pilot.
No
Sometimes
doubt.
you'll see like a TV movie, it's a backdoor pilot. If it does well, we'll get a show. I think he was kind of like, you know what? Kathleen's contract is up next year. We don't know if we're going to renew. She doesn't know if we're going to renew. hey, we might need somebody to take over. And I think it will be Favreau and Filoni in some combination of the two that will take over running Star Wars and usher us into what I am hoping to be a new golden age for this franchise. And I think The Mandalorian will be seen as the first. That will be the first. And I don't know how they're tying it into the movie. I cannot wait to see this episode. Next week, isn't it?
Yep, on Friday.
So
yeah, it's the end of this week. Yeah.
So Mandalorian is going to be early next week, right? It's going to be on Wednesday as opposed to Friday.
Yeah.
Is it Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday or Thursday, as opposed to Friday. It's going to be out before.
Because I'm going to a midnight show or a late show
on Thursday.
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night, all right.
And I don't think that episode's going to drop until after I get out of the theater.
Somehow I think it ties in, or that's
I know.
what the rumor
I'm
is.
a little bit bummed about it.
So, well, you'll see it again if it's good.
Oh, no doubt. But I'm just
If-
not going to
if
have
J.J.
that
Abrams
initial
delivers.
That
experience.
connection. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see how Favreau and Filoni have decided to move this and connect it to the movie universe. The other thing I'm interested in is how none of the episodes have had the same director, but they have all been excellent Star Wars.
They have.
The last episode, I think the farm episode, which was 3.
No, the one with Cardoon.
With Cara Dune. Bryce
Bryce
Dallas
Dallas
Howard directed that. I think
Wow.
that might have been like one of her first gigs or something, wasn't it?
I don't know if that was her first directing gig, but it was a really good episode. I felt bad for Gina that was her episode because the episode before it was just so good with all those Mandalorians.
With all the Mandalorians showing up.
Like,
that was so Filoni,
man.
though. That was so Filoni. Like, dude, that was Star Wars Rebels. That was the Mandalorian Civil War again when he had all those.
They had a
Mandos
lot of
flying
Favreau in
around.
it too, though.
Oh yeah.
The
flying by the ship and the
That-
salute.
that was very
that
I
much-
gotta
all
get me
Favreau.
one of those.
Iron
I
Man.
gotta get me
Yeah,
one of
something
those.
like that,
Yeah.
The whistling birds was very
Yes.
much like the Iron Man
shoulder mount thing.
two-
that they
yeah,
did, Iron Man
it's-
2, yeah.
So
The Mandalorian, I think, has people excited. Not the show is good. I don't know if it's like God tier, but I think it has people excited about
The
what
movie.
Star Wars could be.
No, people are excited about the next Star Wars movie because of the Mandalorian.
Oh, you talking about Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah, Rise of Skywalker.
I'm excited because
I was excited
I'm ready
before.
for it to be over.
It could be a garbage movie. They're gonna get my money anyway. But it got me interested, and it got me with so many theories about how it's gonna connect.
I'm interested just to get it over with.
You're just feeling done.
I am.
I'm kind of in the same place, and it sucks
I'm
because
just-
I'm a huge Star Wars fan, probably above any other franchise. I mean, Marvel has won a place in my heart that kind of overshadows Star Wars, just because it's not and Star Trek. Thank you, J.J. Abrams, for making Star Trek good.
I
Um,
was so below the belt. I had to just bend over. Whew, catch my breath here a
But-
minute.
as a Star Wars fan, I'm almost ready just for it to be over with that story.
Yeah.
Right.
And I hope that it's a good movie or a great movie. I'm like, okay, I was surprised and I really liked it and I can enjoy watching it again. But 7 and 8, I've just not felt that way.
And I think
Especially
like with me, the reason I'm ready for it to be over is I'm tired of the Skywalkers. I'm ready for the story to be done.
Because you're
And-
filled with hate.
Yeah, I am. And I would like... George Lucas did such a great job of creating such an immensely entertaining and imaginative universe. It just makes you, it's like it's one of those things you can look at and it's like, wow, you start to look at things, you start to imagine how things are on this planet or that planet or how this works or that works kind of thing. Where I think The Mandalorian scratches that itch because it's showing you somebody who's not in the movies going to these familiar locations, but maybe just a different place or interacting with somebody familiar just in a different way, showing you some of those aspects of the world, the underworld kind of thing that George has always hinted at but never really dove into in the films.
Okay, on that, real quick. This is one that I really felt after the last episode. They go back to Tatooine.
Mm-hmm.
And they go to familiar places in
Yeah,
Tatooine.
mhm.
They are in Mos Eisley Cantina.
Mhm.
And it's got such a different feel. War's gone. He's probably dead and old, whatever. But it turned into a droid bar.
Yeah,
Which
I thought that was
is
funny
great.
too. As soon as he, like, hey, they got a droid bartender. wow, there's freedom for everybody. After Jabba leaves, it gets killed. There's freedom for the Empire falls.
Well, not
Jabba
only that,
gets
but the
blown
Empire's
up.
gone. But I mean, how much those things changed the landscape of Tatooine? Because most likely, even in the original cut, had a lot of stuff going on in the street, and then the special edition they had a lot more people and stuff. But I mean, it was busy streets, and then it would look like a ghost town.
Yeah,
This time around, I'm like,
that makes sense.
I like what they did there. I like how
It's
it
funny.
changed the Outer Rim, that the Empire's no longer.
The only thing I wish they had done different, because when they introduced the gunslinger character, which actually he's not the gunslinger, the bounty hunter character for this episode, and he's sitting in Han's table with his feet up. That is Han's table. I wish they put a blaster mark on the wall, because I think that would have been hilarious. Like right where he was sitting, just like this is just to tell you, in case you were wondering. Yes, this is where Han was sitting. I would have loved to have seen that, but other than that, yeah. I was all about it. I was all about it, and it's fan service, and I think
Fan service done right.
Fan service done right, and I think that's how these franchises that have been around so long will continue to live and continue to garner the love and support of their fans by giving them fan service. And to talk about Star Trek real quick,
Why?
yeah, right. That's kind of one of the things that they did on this last season of Discovery. If anybody watched it, they brought in the Enterprise, brought in Captain Pike, and they did fan service to that very first iteration of Star Trek from the pilot. They did a ton of fan service to that, and they spent the whole season doing it. And now it has people clamoring for a Captain Pike show. Yeah. Like, I'll pay for CBS All Access for that. And you want to talk about wrestling? No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
on that note,
I was gonna. There's some good stuff happening because you got AEW is on fire right now on TNT Wednesday nights. But yo, on this, Pedro Pascal is winning. I'm gonna just throw that out there. He's winning right now.
He just said that for himself. So when he watches the video back, he can remember he said it because nobody else is gonna know. Nobody else is watching it. But on that note, we'll see you next week. Remember,
That's what I said, Pedro
tell him
Pascal.
F you.